appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News. On the hour, I am Ebulomo Adekunle. Striking doctors are seeking the immediate reversal of government's decision to suspend residency training program at federal hospitals as a basis for further negotiation. This was the message national officials of the Nigerian Medical Association delivered to Senate President David Mark on Sunday night when he met them with a view to convincing them to call off the lingering strike. NMA officials, led by Dr. Kayode Obembe, listed their grievances to include, but not limited to, improved hazard allowance for medical and health workers, about 10 months unpaid arrears, as well as appointment of Surgeon General of the Federation. Senator Mark reminded the striking doctors of their strategic roles in the life of citizens, saying that they cannot continue to look the other way when Nigerians face health challenges. He was of the view that the outbreak of Ebola virus disease is enough reason for them to suspend the strike. Senator Mark, however, promised to table their grievances before President Goodluck Jonathan in order to find solutions to them. Both sides agreed to reconvene on Tuesday to report progress on the way out of the logjam. As reactions continue to trail the decision of the federal government to sack resident doctors in its employ nationwide, a medical practitioner and second vice chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association in Lagos State, Segun Akinwotu, has called for a rethink on the part of the government. Akinwotu says the nation's medical practitioners are not unaware of the unprecedented emergency of the Ebola virus. He urged the government to shun blackmail and address the issues so that medical services can be restored to Nigerians.
We have already inadequate number of doctors working in Nigeria. And if there was a strike called by NMA and government comes around to just sack a segment of the NMA, it is not the solution to the problem. It's likely rather going to be counterproductive. I expect that government would still continue to explore channels of negotiations and dialogue to solve this problem. There's the Ebola outbreak. The NMA has been at the forefront. We are part of the Nigerian doctors who are involved. There are 5 doctors involved. 2 are foreigners, 3 are NMA members who are working in the IDH in Yaba. We go there to see them daily. You realize that even people have called us because the government is trying to blackmail NMA for still being on strike while there's Ebola outbreak.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola said the state government is stepping up efforts in the fight against the spread of Ebola virus. The governor, in a statewide broadcast, called on all Nigerians to support the government in its efforts to combat the disease. He advised residents to maintain a high standard of hygiene.
What all of us must do is to follow all the advice, especially about reporting any suspected cases and about increasing our personal hygiene by constant washing of our hands with soap and water. We should also stop unhygienic practices of urinating in public and defecating in public because those are body fluids and waste through which the virus is known to thrive. This new week, starting from today, and the next one will be the sharpest part of the curve that we expect to negotiate. Last week, we cleared a total of 61 contacts after the 21 days surveillance, which is the known lifespan of the virus. These people were not sick. They were persons who needed to be monitored because of real or suspected contacts in order to be certain that they did not eventually fall sick. We cautiously wait to see how many more people will be cleared and hope that there will be no new cases.
The All Progressives Congress has condemned renewed plan by the Nasarawa State House of Assembly to impeach the state's governor, Tanko Al-Makura. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Lai Mohammed, APC says the lawmakers were bent on violating the constitution in their desperation to remove the governor. The party noted that Al-Makura had been cleared of the charges against him by duly constituted impeachment panel. He says it will amount to an illegality for the lawmakers to draft a vacation judge to set up another panel to probe the same 16 allegations which the governor had been observed, adding that the constitution is clear that only the chief judge of the state can set up such a panel upon receiving a request from the Speaker of the House of Assembly. The APC says any attempt to draft a vacation judge to set up another panel would be against the constitution that gave the legislature the impeachment power in the first instance. The party also said Al-Makura cannot be impeached on the basis of the same allegations. Meanwhile, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has described the fresh moves being initiated by the Nasarawa State House of Assembly to impeach the governor, Tanko Al-Makura, as illegal. The lawyer says that under the Constitution, the House of Assembly lacked the power to raise the same allegations against the governor, having been earlier exonerated of the same accusations by an impeachment panel. Falana also described as illegal the decision of the House of Assembly to request a vacation judge to set up fresh impeachment panel against Al-Makura and describes it as lawless. Falana says only a chief judge of a state has the power to constitute an impeachment panel against the governor, adding that a vacation judge could not serve as an appellate court over the decision of the earlier impeachment panel. It cautioned the Nasarawa State House of Assembly to desist from going ahead with the fresh impeachment moves, as it will amount to a clear violation of the Constitution. Over 2,000 internally displaced persons are currently taking refuge in a secluded area in Nasarawa State. They are some of the people displaced by recent clashes in some parts of Wukari in Taraba State. Pai Samuel reports that the temporary camp is located in one of the Al-Majiri schools built by the federal government.
This looks like a refugee camp, but it is actually a school. The school was built by government for the Almajiris as a way of introducing them to Western education. But it has now been taken over by internally displaced persons from Taraba State. There are over 1,000 persons here. They had narrowly escaped death when an internal crisis broke out in Wukari. Some of them have fitted in well, while others wished they were at home.
All the assistance made by the Nasarawa State government, and we have a special assistance by their chieftaincies affairs, more especially the chief of Shabu here. If there is anything that we may be encountered, even within ourselves, that is within the circles of the displaced person, quickly he's been intervening. So before we realize in all angles, the necessary action will be taken by him. There and then we made to find ourselves in a safer situation.
From this place, they get their food. They manage at least 2 square meals per day, provided by Nasarawa and Taraba state governments. These youths also take out time to relax in their new environment. The secretary, Nasarawa State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Idris, said it has not been easy getting support to keep the people.
The people you see on this camp are people from Taraba State. They happen to come from 5 different communities in Taraba State. There are those that came from Wukari, others came from Aruhu, while others came from Chinkai. Essentially, our major challenge is, of course, managing people that come from different communities. It's one of the major challenges we've been having, essentially having to do with leadership. However, we've been trying our best to bring them together because they feel who should be the leader of the IDPs. One committee said they want their own, the other one said they want their own. So every now and then this has been the challenge.
This 2-year-old boy knows nothing about where he is. To him, this is home, and he is keen to explore his new environment. They may have settled in, but these people are hopeful of reuniting with their families as soon as peace returns to the troubled spots in Wukari. The peaceful nature of Taraba State was recently characterized by violence in some parts of the state, especially Wukari local government. The crisis have rendered these people refugees in their fatherland. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Lafia.
The Labour Party says it has commenced a move to discontinue with the suit filed against the former governor of Ogun State, Benga Daniel, challenging his authority in the party before a federal high court Ikeja, Lagos. The national chairman of the party, Dan Nwanyao, among other members of the national executive, have ordered the suit filed against ex-governor to be withdrawn. The statement added that the party has officially written the lawyer handling the case, Oluyede Delano, to answer from the case and notify the Federal High Court in Lagos through an affidavit of their desire to discontinue from the suit. The leaders appealed to all members of Ogun Labour Party that have defected to other political parties during the protracted crisis to return to the party. They had also agreed to harmonize the state executive during the coming state congresses through affirmation. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Ikem Dirim Unwogu Hiasimo, has won the August 16 by-election for Aba South State constituency, Abia State. According to the result of the poll announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, Hiasimo polled 1,655 votes to defeat our closest rival, Smart Ebere of the All Progressives Congress, who scored 313 votes, while Chimobi Akbara of the All Progressives Grand Alliance came third with 252 votes. Ikem Dirim is the widow of the former occupant of the seat, late Unwogu Hiasimo, who died in March this year after protracting a mysterious illness. Governor Theodore Orji has congratulated Ikem Dirim on her victory, which he described as well-deserved. The All Progressives Congress in the Southeast said it is not opposed to President Goodluck Jonathan's running for re-election in 2015, as he has the constitutional right to contest. The APC spoke in a statement by its Southeast Zonal spokesman, Osita Okechukwu. The statement was a response to the endorsement of President Jonathan as Igbo candidate by some Southeast People's Democratic Party leaders under the platform of Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria at a rally in Awka. The Southeast APC says the Igbo leaders who endorsed Jonathan have no interest in the well-being of Indigbo. In a bid to prevent the outbreak of the dreaded Ebola virus in Osun State, the state's government has set up an emergency response committee to map out plans in preventing Ebola from Osun and to put in place a quick response to curtail it from, if it occurs. Rashid has details.
Like some Nigerians will say, the fear of Ebola elicits caution. Since the outbreak of the dreaded disease in Nigeria, proactive measures have been put in place by government at all levels to either curtail its spread or prevent it in states where it is not yet recorded. Osun State government says it has put in place isolation and quarantine centers to stop a possible outbreak.
Some buildings, some hospitals, which we have built but have not been occupied yet as our isolation centers. And we have taken delivery of personal protective equipment, PPE. Spoke with Dr. Yewande Adeshina, who is the special advisor to the governor on public health in Lagos State, coming to Osun on Wednesday on what they have been doing and ways by which they could help us here in Osun to ensure and make sure that we do not have this Ebola here in Osun.
The Osun State government says it has also set up an interministerial committee ranging from the Ministry of Health to religious institutions to help with aggressive enlightenment.
The state government have put a high-powered committee in place, and it's a ministerial committee. Members are the health ministry, information ministry, environment ministry, tourism, and we have agri, education, and rural and water resources. Outside the ministerial system, we have the traditional council representation.
The State Commissioner for Environment, Bukola Oyawoye, has warned all hotel owners of sanctions if they fail to report clients to the ministry henceforth.
Then to alert us if there are visitors in their hotels. No hotelier should keep any visitors without the knowledge of the state government now. We need to know everyone that enters Osun by way of being a visitor.
The special advisor to Governor Rauf Aregbesola on health, Rafiu Samotu, says the state government is set to bring doctors in to tackle Ebola if the need arises.
The only training teaching hospital we have in Osun is Lautech, which is jointly owned by Oyo and Osun. But all our doctors in all the state hospitals, in all our general hospitals, comprehensive centers are not resident doctors. So they are ready, they are on red alert to help us in case we have any case of Ebola here in Osun.
These preventive measures are only precautionary, as no known case of Ebola has been recorded in Osun State. Rashid, CoreTV News.
Sierra Leone is one of the countries most affected by Ebola. French non-governmental organization Médecins Sans Frontières says survivors are being allowed to return home if they can prove that they are no longer contagious. Sierra Leone has stepped up efforts against the deadly Ebola virus.
So far, we've had more than 200 confirmed cases at our Ebola center, and we've had 52 survivors. Anyone who's confirmed to have Ebola then is monitored. If they stop having symptoms, then a second test will be done. And the test will look to see if the viral load has fallen to the point where the person is no longer infectious. And at that point, they can be discharged and go home to their community. Today, we're taking survivors home to their village, which is very exciting for us because it means we have survivors. And it's also really beneficial to the overall response to the outbreak because when survivors go home, they can explain about their experience at the center. They give people hope that it's possible to survive. And it really builds trust between the community and us.
Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have arrested 4 bankers for allegedly conspiring to steal 5.1 million naira from a customer's account. 4 bankers, Mansour Danlami, Ejiro Ebokripo, Nina, Stephen and Samson Umodo, all staff of First Bank, were said to have conspired among themselves to issue an ATM card to an impostor in the name of a bona fide customer of the bank in Bayelsa State. EFCC said in a statement that the impostor then used the card to steal the amount from Samuel Omede's account. The commission added that the suspects are still being interrogated in its Kano zonal office and will be charged to court as soon as investigation is concluded. Determined to have a functional railway system for the country, the Subsidy Reinvestment Program, SURE-P, has commenced technician and maintenance training program for the Lagos-Kano rail line. The program, which kicked off in Lagos, will have over 100 technicians trained to adequately maintain a rail track built to improve the transportation system from Lagos to Kano. Minister of Labour and Productivity, Emeka Wogu, assured that the program, which will provide employment for the younger generation of Nigerians, will be adequately funded from the SURE-P funds. Chairman of the Nigerian Railways Corporation, Bamanga Tukur, emphasized that a technical plan to have a sustainable railway system is already in place, and this will provide hundreds of employment for the young graduates in the country. Martin Luther Agwai, Chairman, SURE-P, says the government will do more in the provision of employment for the younger generation of Nigerians with the SURE-P program at full throttle. In a bid to reduce unemployment in the country, the Subsidy Reinvestment and Employment Program has flagged off the training of technicians and maintenance of the Lagos-Kano rail line. You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more. Don't go away.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News. a 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you join us another edition of The Political Arena, the most detailed and incisive political show.
If you are a sitting governor and the opposition is able to stomach structure against you, that means you are wicked to the people.
They gave me 20 minutes to move or they will shoot me.
He has no chance for survival. If he likes himself, this is the best time to get out before he perishes.
The PDP as a ruling party has failed.
So anybody who thinks that government will fold his hands and allow miscreants to take over the streets of our own state and cause havoc is deceiving himself.
The good, bad, ugly and beautiful sides of the Nigerian political system. Join me every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. on CoreTV News.
Thank you for being there. Humanitarian Chief Valerie Amos rounds up a 2-day visit for talks on expanding humanitarian cooperation amidst a growing disagreement between Iran and the West, adding that the humanitarian situation in Gaza requires urgent steps.
In Gaza, 1,975 Palestinians, including 1,407 civilians and 67 Israelis, were killed during the conflict. An estimated 10,000 people have been injured, including 3,000 children and 3,000 women. Damage to hospitals, schools, and UN Works and Relief Agency shelters where people displaced sought refuge will take months to rebuild. The United Nations response continues, including with the delivery of food, water, and household goods. Medicines and fuel are being delivered to hospitals. All recognise that all the member states of the United Nations have so far failed in their ability to deliver that political solution.
And it's a wrap on CoreTV News on the hour for this time. Join us again top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.